Thanks for tuning into the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more NBA news. Now, I've seen an article or somebody clipped up a segment talking about, well, Dwayne Wade was saying that he was Michael Jordan before his injuries. And I know most people probably think that's preposterous, but if you actually seen D Wade play, it makes sense. And I'll count the ways. Um, I don't think this is a crazy statement because Dwayne Wade was the guy before the injuries because his mentality for one. Seeing him play at Marquette, shout out to the Golden Eagles. He was a slasher. Even in the league, he was this too, but he was a slasher. He was a go-getter. He'll put the team on his back and keep going. And most people knew that they can count on him when the times get tough, when it's clutch time. Even LeBron saw that in his career when he went to Miami of what Dwayne Wade was. He's a leader. He's not a follower. He's not somebody that's a pushover. He's going to go out there and get it, and he's going to take over these games. Now, um, his mentality and his drive is what I compare him to Jordan because he never was a true jump shooter. Now, those jump shooters, Jordan was known for the mid range game. He would occasionally shoot threes, but they really didn't do that back in that era. But Dwayne Wade had that same mentality of Jordan just by taking over games and being able to have the bravery to take the last shot, regardless if you think you felt like you could make it or not. You're gonna feel like he's gonna make that shot, or he's gonna at least attempt it. He's not gonna shy away from the moment. And a lot of youngsters and a lot of younger players today missing that drive because Dwayne Wade always had it. No matter, I mean, it was something that I don't know. It's not something you could teach. It's something that was instilled in him. You know, coming from Chicago and coming from the inner city of Chicago, tough town. Um, he had to learn early to have to do these things, and he showed that in his game. And D Wade, growing up in Chicago, he had a firsthand look at Michael Jordan playing, and he probably mimicked his game after it because everybody wanted to be Jordan during those times, and a lot of players do now. But what separates you from being Jordan is not your athleticism or your stats, it's your drive, your mentality. And that's why a lot of people compare Kobe to Dwayne Wade because of his mentality of want to take the last shot, wanting to take over for the team, get out the way, I'll do it, not leading it to somebody else. And that what separates those guys from like a LeBron because LeBron will depend on other players. I mean, because he's a passer first, similar to like a Magic Johnson in a lot of aspects. But we know Dwayne Wade is couldn't be Jordan in success and pop success because Jordan reached levels no one else could with the shoes and the way people could still wear shoes 20, 30 years after he's hanged up his shoes in the league. People are still wearing his shoes. They never seen him play. Don't even, couldn't tell you how many championships he had or anything. But he became a fashion icon off of that just alone. And the brand name that is Jordan with the jump, man. No one else can do that. Um, it'll take a lot for someone to do that. Even LeBron, with his success and accolades and stats, his shoes are nowhere near what Jordan is. I never heard anybody say, "Oh, the new LeBron's coming out." No, they're not going to say that. But the Jordans, still to this day, they will say that. So it's just different on that level. But when you think about Dwayne Wade, what he did in the finals with Shaquille O'Neal, the games he would take over with LeBron, what he did in college in the NCAA tournament, he was definitely Michael Jordan in that aspects of being the team leader, being the go-to guy, having that mentality or of being a assassin, as they say. He was definitely that. So it's all about mentality and that legendary playoff run he had, where he averaged 34 points a game in the finals against the Mavericks and Dirk Nowitzki. Um, it was legendary what he was able to do. Fortunately, Dirk Nowitzki and Mavericks got their lick back on LeBron and D Wade later on. I think about 5 years later, but nevertheless, Wade did it with Shaq at the end of his career when he was on pretty much his last legs at that point. But Dwayne Wade averaging 34 points a game was just spectacular, especially for a guy that's not a jump shooter. He's doing most of this stuff off free throws and mid range and slashing to the basket. He was never known for a 3-point shooter, but he was known as the best blocking guard of all time as he has the most blocks from a guard from the guard position in his career. So they just showed you his mentality. Standing at 6'4", being a little undersized, he was still able to get blocks and be effective on the defensive end. And that's another reason why he's like Jordan, is because he can defend as well. He can give you 30, but he can also come back on the defensive end and cause disruptions and shut you down as well. So it's like similar to what Kobe could do. So it's all about that. But um, unfortunately, Derrick Rose had that same stories from Chicago. Injuries got the best of him, and it knocked his career off, similar to what a Grant Hill is. But just speaking from that Chicago perspective, um, Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade both had kind of the same fate as far as injuries go. Unfortunately, Derrick Rose wasn't able to get a ring from it in his career, but Dwayne Wade, was able to get rings from his career. I believe he had three, but he was able to get that even though his knees started to fail him towards the end of his career. But Derrick Rose would have been very special in Chicago if it wasn't for the injuries. But he was able to get a league MVP, and I believe at the time he was the youngest league MVP to ever do it. So, um, but yeah, but I do believe Dwayne Wade was on the trajectory to be similar to Jordan. I don't think he would have matched the level or got as high as Jordan could be. Even if he won 7 championships, he would probably have to win like 8 or something, and pretty much have to be undefeated in the finals. But I think he did have the mentality of Michael Jordan. But of course, he couldn't reach the pop success that Jordan had because we probably never see that again. But as always, until next time, I'll see you next time.